What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from the Jersey Shore, and I'm back with you today to talk to you about the 2012 film American Mary. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and click that subscribe button now. Get that out of the way. American Mary was written and directed by Jen and Sylvia Soska, also known as the Soska sisters, and starring Katharine Isabelle. Okay, so American Mary starts off with Katharine Isabelle's, her character. She's a med student, so she's sitting in class listening to a lecture. Cell phone goes off. Teacher gives her a hard time about the cell phone being in class. Dude genuinely seems like kind of a jerk. She apologizes for the phone incident. She goes, she's out in the parking garage after class, and she gets a phone call from a collections agency telling her that her cell phone or her phone bill is 3 months past due, demanding payment before they shut her phone off and so forth. Her professor overhears her talking to the collection agency, gives her kind of a goofy look, and makes him seem even more creepy than he already does. But being she's struggling financially a bit, she decides to go down and try out to become a stripper. While she's down there, she starts showing off her body. She's got to give the guy who owns the club a massage. It's very degrading. You can see the look of disgust on her face. He's pulled out of the room for a moment, tells her not to go anywhere, and he comes running back in there. Oh, and by the way, at this point, she's in lingerie, standing there, just standing there waiting for this guy to come back. He comes in, he says, so you said you were a med student. How much do you know? How far along are you? Do you want to make $5,000? She starts asking a bunch of questions. He says, no questions asked. If you want to make $5,000, come with me. So she starts to go down the hallway. She kind of seems to be dragging her feet. So he just says, forget about it. And she says, never mind. I'll do anything you want me to do for $5,000. So she enters this room. There's a couple thug-looking dudes in there, and there's a guy laying on a table with nothing on but his underwear. He appears that his eye's missing. He's covered in blood. She's standing there in shock. But now, for the $5,000, she has to try and get this guy mended up. So she gets everything done that she's there to do. The guy hands her $5,000. She goes home. She locks her door. She throws up. She goes to sleep on the couch holding a baseball bat because now she's scared to death. Next thing you know, her phone rings, and it's an unknown name on the phone. She answers the phone, and it's somebody that's referring to her as Dr. Mason. She hangs up the phone, they call back. She hangs up the phone, they call back. Eventually, this person comes up with the scheme to call her and say that she's got a delivery for her. So she goes over, Katharine Isabelle's character, she goes over, she unlocks the door, tells him to come up. When she goes over to the door, or she actually walks out of the room, comes back in, realizes the door's open. She walks over, shuts the door, turns around, and there is a woman who almost looks like a human Betty Boop standing in her living room. Clearly, she's had her face reconstructed, and she looks like a mannequin. So apparently word got out that Katharine Isabelle is a med student, and she's going to be a surgeon. So this Betty Boop-looking chick hires her to do work on her friend. $10,000 cash. Go in there, do the job. We pay you cash. Here's a couple $1,000 more for showing up. She goes in there, and she wants to have, I don't know the right way to say that on here. I guess she wants to have her body modified. So Katharine Isabelle's character does it, and now she gets the reputation of being like sort of an underground black market surgeon. So eventually Katharine Isabelle's character is invited to some stuck-up snooty party that her college professor and his buddies are throwing. And while she's in there, her professor drugs her, and then her professor rapes her. She goes back to the thug-looking dudes that were at the club where she fixed up the original guy that she came in contact with and lets them know what happened. They get the professor, they bring him back, and she goes to work on this dude. Needless to say, it does not turn out very well for him. So now the professor turns up missing, and there's people out there looking for him. She's got her own website as being like an underground surgeon. She is getting jobs throughout the community to do all this ridiculous stuff to people, body modification and so forth. The Soska sisters actually turn up and they do a cameo in the movie. It's a pretty cool movie. It's pretty wild, pretty outrageous, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very different. I thought the Soska sisters did a very good job in writing and directing this movie. Katharine Isabelle is a very good-looking girl who I've seen in several other horror movies. She's in all the Ginger Snaps movies. She was in Freddy vs. Jason. She's just cool. She's very good at what she does. In this movie, she was like the main character in the movie. She was American Mary. I didn't even list anybody else as being starring in this movie. There were other, characters throughout the movie, obviously. You can't do a one-man show in a movie like this. But she is absolutely front and center. She is the centerpiece and the star of this movie, and she did a fantastic job. The first time she ever came across my radar was in Ginger Snaps. Her and Elizabeth Perkins are the two stars and the main characters in that movie, and she was awesome in Ginger Snaps. I thought she was very, very good in that, and I couldn't wait to see her, grow as an actor, and she has never disappointed me in anything that I've ever seen her in. And she's, like I said, front row and center in this movie, and she carries this movie flawlessly. The subject matter of this movie is a little bit bizarre. I know that my wife has been in a room 2 different times where I've been watching this movie, and both times it kind of bothered her. This morning when I was watching it, there was a particular part on that she had to get up and walk away from. So if you're somebody who cannot take like body horror or difficult subject matter or surgical type procedures, stay away from this movie. You don't want to watch it. If you're a fan of messed up stuff like I am, watch American Mary if you haven't seen it. This movie kicks ass. All right, folks, that's going to do it for my review of American Mary. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. I would love for you to go on this journey with me. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching.